So, Greg, when you're dealing with so many departments and all these departments have various needs, conflicts are sure to happen. How do you, as a first AD, resolve disputes? And is there a hierarchy between safety and budget and time and who ultimately has the most important needs on a set for you?
Well, there's multiple levels to that question. Safety is always first. And then after that, your job is to get the shot. And then you have to look at what elements are going into the shot. If it's a shot with an effect on it, like an actor has to fall down into a puddle of spilled goo. I'm on a kid's show right now, so we do stuff like that, where kid will fall into goo. And so you have to look at what the logistics are of doing that, not just in take one, but take two and take three. And if you put any sort of liquid on the ground, when you reset, you not only have to get it off, but any of the oils so that people can walk around there. It's not uncommon for writers in their heads to think, and then he'll fly through the air and he'll land here and he'll do these variety of these different blockings, but the physics of it don't necessarily give you that. So we have to cheat things. We have a scene where we did in the past where a guy had to fly through a door, and behind him was a exploding wall plumbing setup. So now he's going to fly through the air, go out the door, he goes into a hallway. So I said, well, do you want him to hit the wall? Is he going that far? Face first, back first, feet first, front, back, how do you want it to go? And they didn't know. It makes a difference because it affects how we motivate him through the wall. So you have to work through things that the average person wouldn't necessarily look to. Now, in the process of that, you'll run into different departments who'll say, well, my budget restricts me on the number of costumes I can get. Well, my budget restricts me on the type of stunt I can do. Well, and we only want to build this, we don't want to do that. The door should open this way, not that way. Continuity-wise, we want to be here, we don't want to be there. And so what you run into is a sort of unintended consequence of conflicting needs. And so the trick is, I think, to just flesh them all out. Mm-hmm. Find out what everybody's reasons are. And then the priority usually will present itself. And very oftentimes for me, it's going back to my director or my showrunner, writer or producer, and saying, here's what the situation is. My recommendation is this. It's the most efficient for your story, not just because I believe it's the one that's the easiest to shoot, but I may recommend the one that isn't easy to shoot, but it's the one that's the best way to do it. I have to be very careful because oftentimes people will look at a first AD and think, well, he's just recommending it because it's easy or it's fast. They don't understand my motivation. They're looking at me as a sort of the enemy of creativity. I'm the time guy. And the reality is for me personally at least, and I can't speak for all other ADs, I want to shoot the neatest, funnest stuff. It doesn't do me, it's not exciting for me to go home and go, well, we didn't do anything interesting today. Nothing there.
Oh boy, today was very generic.
Yes, how cool was that? Not. So I want to do fun things. I want to throw the guy through the wall. I want to see the water go. You want to see it all happen. You want to do it slow-mo and all these different things. But you are restricted by time. And so usually you have to be very specific and know if you want to influence a decision, what methods you use. Who do you speak through? Sometimes I'll go talk to the prop department and say, you need to present your case. Or I'll say to the producer, here's the issue, speak to this department, and that'll be the real resolution. Mm-hmm. The costumes are important, the props are important, but he really needed to talk to the stunt coordinator. And once they knew how he went through the door, the rest of it would fall in place. Okay. It's you've got to you can't put the cart in front of the horse. Mm-hmm. And in this case, there's a certain order to the wagon train. And once you figure out what's in each element, what their needs are, and what the order of priority is, you usually can resolve it. If you can't, then you go to your boss and say, hey, I've got these two departments that are at loggerheads. I think they're both being childish, but we need to resolve the problem. How do we do it? Mm-hmm. And usually they'll take a moment, flare up a little bit, and then we solve it.